Whoa, coming in hot.
It looks like 3 pieces of cardboard on the end of a really like kind of bouncy wire.
That's exactly what it is. And it's called a cat dancer toy. And I've never seen a cat get more crazy.
Whoa, 360s.
Yeah,
he's getting hang time.
He's like Lucha Libre and this shit up.
Welcome to $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Varnum. Joining me today, as always, hey, we're actually here today, boys. We've got Big Mike,
Woo!
Cookie,
It's me.
and Tolbert just rolling out of bed, coming to my house. Tolbert, what's happening,
Hey.
baby boy?
Dodging these aggressive-ass mosquitoes.
Yeah, what
way
happened?
into the door.
What happened? What?
Yeah, I got mugged outside. As soon
You
as I
got
opened
mugged?
as soon as I opened my door.
bugged.
These rare hybrid whatever port mosquitoes.
Yeah,
You got over
apparently,
here.
we got a message on our Facebook, and the port said that a very aggressive and large kind of mosquito had hatched across the river in Eagle Island, and they have been attacking our neighborhood. The people all week, people have been posting pictures of their dog, and the dogs have got like swollen faces because they've been
It's not
attacked
funny.
so much. It's
I
been
don't know
so
about
sad, but it's been kind of funny at the same time.
Murder mosquitoes.
They are very scary mosquitoes.
Like normally a mosquito, like you don't feel until it like is drawing blood, and you're like, oh man.
No, these things you feel
Yeah.
the mouth going in.
It looks like the lady taking blood at the Red Cross. Like it's like a fucking needle just sticking into your arm and just like drawing half your blood out of
It's
you.
very tough. And Terry has been going crazy because they get inside the house and Terry's like, what do I do? Do I attack it? Do I?
When it flies away, it looks like those people that were filling garbage bags full of gas.
Yeah,
Just like carrying your blood sack.
Yeah, the aerodynamics kind of get messed up by the pint of blood that they pull up out of my body. So
At least you can see them. I got these bugs in my grass and my sand.
the
that,
no-see-ums, the
that, like,
gnats.
that literally just like live like 4 inches off the ground and just like bite your ankles and you can't see them.
Yeah, that's called Elliot and Hudson.
No, but Elliot did gaslight me today. So we were talking about gaslighting the other week with your rat. And so he smacks me across the face.
Okay.
And I tell him, I'm like, hey, man, like, that's not cool. You got to, personal boundaries and all that sort of stuff. And he starts crying. And he's crying, one, because he got yelled at, and two, because his hand hurts. And he wouldn't stop crying until I kissed his hand. And I said, so you hit me with your hand and then made me kiss the hand that hit me.
He definitely joined the Dark Order.
Wow.
He's going to be an abuser growing up.
What the hell, man?
Tolbert, what'd you do this week?
I started remodeling my bathroom.
Oh, God. The one that you have...
Downstairs or
or upstairs?
Downstairs.
Oh,
Downstairs.
man. I've seen some things in that downstairs. Man.
Yeah, well, I'm tearing it all out, like fresh start.
It's like
That thing's still stuck in the toilet.
So I started ripping up tile, and as soon as I get started, I go to take the vanity out. I'm taking the sink off, stripped it all down, and I go to start prying it out, and I hear a small crack, and then water starts spewing out of the wall where I broke the water line.
Oh my god.
Yeah, a huge geyser is shooting out of the bathroom. Luckily, I know where the shutoff is, so I ran outside, dove for the water cut it off real quick.
they say one of the best things for your house is water.
Yeah. So
Humidity.
what turned in what was supposed to be a few hour
broken
project,
lines.
it turned into me mopping up water, and 2 trips to Lowe's later, I had the water turned back on.
Were they like, weren't you just here?
But
I wonder if they can like tag the people that they know are going to be back at least 3 more times to be like, this guy's trying to redo his bathroom. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
They probably put bets. Like,
I guarantee it.
yeah. They're like,
luckily, I do know what to do, so I fixed it. I was quite impressed with my plumbing, my handiwork. Had to cut a small hole in the wall, but
where the men can see it all.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, that's been my past couple days.
Sorry, I hadn't thought about that rhyme in like years. So anything else? That was how's work been?
Good, man. Good. Jim Gaffigan was in town last night.
Yeah. How was that?
How was that
I don't
crowd
know.
compared to the other crowds you've been seeing?
This was
The Miranda Lambert crowd.
No, it was a lot of people in lawn chairs, walking around getting drinks.
Oh, honey, this is great.
I love him. He's so clean.
He's such a good guy.
I like Jim. He's good. I listen to him on road trips.
To me, he's just like Andy Rooney from the old CBS 60 Minutes, who just complains about stuff in a high-pitched voice. That's basically Jim Gaffigan.
I love Jim Gaffigan. One, he gave Wilmington a shout-out on his Instagram. Apparently, they made a really nice chimichanga cake that tasted delicious.
Who did?
One of the bakers in town. I don't remember.
Was it Apple-Annie's?
No. But he gave them a shout-out. But, I love Jim Gaffigan because he is so clean and he's Catholic and all these my favorite thing ever with Jim Gaffigan was when all the conservatives turned on him because they thought he was one of them. And he goes onto his Twitter, this clean guy. He's like, this guy in terms of Trump, he goes, Trump fucking sucks. And then he calls him an idiot, just lays into him. And everybody was just in an uproar about Jim Gaffigan. And just because he's a pasty white Catholic doesn't mean he necessarily loves your cult leader.
Yeah, that's true. Cookie, how was the mountain areas?
I've been doing a lot of tedious things this week, man. I went to DMV. Yeah, I went to DMV. You spend at least 3 hours there getting my ID. You
can't do that stuff online.
No, you have to go in person to do that to get a new ID. It fucking sucks.
Really?
Is it like North Carolina where they take your picture and then it takes 4 weeks for them to mail it to you?
Diane got hers in a week, so I am crossing my fingers that tomorrow.
This is wild to me. In Ohio, you go and they print it out right there.
Oh no! They gave me a piece of paper.
But in Ohio,
in
Ohio, in order to get one, you have to surrender your old one.
Yeah, I had to surrender my old one.
Yeah, when I came to North Carolina, when I moved here, they just take my picture and give me the freaking ID, and I'm like, oh, so I got an Ohio ID and a North Carolina one, so. It's kind of nice because then when I went to the bars back home, rather than pulling out my North Carolina ID and then trying to find the birth date or whatever, I just handed them my Ohio one.
I have my my South Carolina ID, so if I ever need to go to the strip clubs there, I get free. I don't have to pay for the out of state admissions.
I tell you, it's a little bit of a bitch though because I went to the dispensary and they wouldn't take my old ID because it has a hole punch in it because it's null and void now.
What?
Yeah, they hole punch it, so you can't use it. It's invalid now.
Did you have to get an old man walking into the hey, mister?
At least in North Carolina, they'll give you a paper one with your picture and shit on it while you're waiting for the real one.
Oh, I didn't bring that one with me because another bartender didn't take it. One bartender didn't.
Most people won't take them. Most bars won't take them either.
Really?
Yeah, we don't take them a lot.
Should have just taken your passport, Cook.
I should have just taken the passport.
You have a passport, Cookie?
I have a passport. I went to
Did you buy weed with your passport?
Why not?
No.
It's a Class A identifier. It's all when you're doing hiring, you're all you need is the passport. You don't need to provide anything else.
Out front. Yeah. Hey man, can you give me 8? Come on. Change.
It's a little bit different these days.
Yeah, I have a passport, Aaron. I've been out of state.
Where?
Out of the country.
He's like, I gotta go to Texas. Gotta get a passport.
Country. I'm in the country.
Where have you been?
I went to South America.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I stayed abroad. Yeah. Yeah. And then what about this, boys? I'm finally a student now.
He's got his ID card right here, his Pioneer card.
That's awesome.
He's finally a student.
Finally, officially a student now.
I went 2 years at UNCW, never got my ID.
I don't have an ID.
Don't you need one?
No,
I haven't done shit on campus.
Unless you're trying to get a discount at Harris Teeter, and that lady was nice enough just to put it in for me.
I wonder if I can just be like, hey man, I'm a master's student, and they're like, no, you're not.
I was like, I can pull up my email for you, and she was like, it's fine, I believe you.
Wait, so Harris Teeter has a discount?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they've always had one.
Yeah.
For students?
Yeah, it's 5% or something like that.
Are you shitting me?
No.
Yeah.
How do I do that?
You just go ask them to do it.
Give me your ID number.
Yeah, they need your ID. If you find a nice lady who doesn't care.
Okay. I will start doing that from here on out.
Yeah, it might be the only the one at the College Road location.
Sir, you're not you buy way too many prime cuts of beef to be a college student. You also you can't be shopping in the dry aged section with that college student discount.
You are too old and you make too much money to be getting this college discount.
Oh, you buy too much frivolous shit.
Oh man,
Mike, what did you do this week?
This week, you just finally.
Oh, sorry, Cookie. What?
I wasn't even done, man.
What? No, Cookie, you said what?
I got a big surprise. Listen, guys.
You got a big surprise. He's coming back to Wilmington.
No, definitely not. But there's a live event, a WWE live event next week in Colorado, and I'm going to it. I just want to let you guys know that.
That's it.
Yes. Wow. I thought it was
fuck about some WWE live event.
What is it? What is it? Just like a house show?
Yeah, some type of super show. I've never been to one, so I don't know what the fuck.
House shows are fun.
Hey, apparently Cena's been doing the house shows tour circuit.
Really?
Cookie, I will tell you, I've had more fun at house shows than I had at like live event, like live broadcast, because house shows, they give them more time to work. It's a very crowd interactive atmosphere. The matches are longer. It's fun. Yeah. I saw one of the best matches I've ever seen in my entire life at a house show in Raleigh. So don't worry, you'll have fun. It'll be good. So enjoy it. House shows are good.
Thank you. All right, now you can carry on, Aaron. Go ahead.
Did you get a preliminary card? Does it tell you what the matchups are going to be?
No, I don't have a card. So this is going to be a surprise.
Okay, so Karrion Kross is probably going to lose. Keith Lee's going to lose.
They don't even have a card for next Monday. Like, what?
It's true. This Delta variant.
This is one of the wildest things that blows my mind.
What?
The WWE, like, you never know. Like, how are you going to sell a show or sell a live event without, like, knowing who the fuck's going to be on it? Like, AEW only, like, they tell you a week ahead of time what's going to happen.
Oh, my. What's going to happen this week on AEW?
I didn't want to look at the card, but I'm going to watch it regardless.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, Mike, what did you do this week?
This week, so I got back to work. I've been taking all these vacations and trips, so just kind of chilled out. Elliot turned 3, so I took off his birthday. We went to the kids museum. We had a good little time. He turns into a monster after 2:00 if he doesn't take a nap.
He's a gremlin. He's a mogwai.
It's insane. Wednesday, watched the debut episode of AEW Rampage on Fridays at 10:00. It's a 1-hour show. It was electric. It was awesome. At the same time, I helped my buddy Nate prepare jokes for a roast.
Yeah, that I came to realize I don't like roasts.
Yeah, so
I just don't like roasts.
So we had a roast. Our friend who passed away, Mark, his wife planned a roast for his 40th birthday. It was a little
roasty,
dark, making fun of a dead guy.
So I'm fine with that. I'm fine with making fun of dead.
You don't like making.
How are you fine with that?
They have no. they ain't got no soul.
But
if there was a coffin flop, I would have loved it.
In true Nate fashion, he went after everybody like a normal roast would. He was the only one that did that. He was also the only one that went dark. Everybody was like loving funny anecdotes, and Nate's like, "Oh, I thought this was a roast." So he just lays into everybody. It got a little uncomfortable. I had a great time. I was cracking up the whole time, partly because I helped write some of the jokes, but I had a blast.
So you're responsible for.
I did not come up with any of those jokes. Actually, maybe one of them. No, I helped with the two truths and a lie.
I ran the audio board and I filmed it, and the whole time I'm like, "Cut his mic! Cut his mic!" I've got the power. I can do it.
It was beautiful. We had a good time, cracking up, reminiscing about Mark. Got to see a beautiful video tribute from some of his family that couldn't be there. Went around, did a little powwow. It was kind of nice. It was nice because it was the closest thing in the last 17 months. Well, I guess not 17 months, but almost a year now he's been gone.
10 months.
10 months. So
because she kept making jokes about how she hasn't had sex in 10 months, and I'm like, oh.
It was good. It was good stuff. I really appreciated it. It was a fun time.
Yeah. So this past week, what have I done this week? Nothing special. It is the last week of another class here. For my master's degree, I've only got 2 more classes left. My teacher actually signed me up for the final class, thinking that I was a class ahead, and I should have just went with it. But I've got 2 more classes, boys. I will be done by December.
And then what are you going to do with your life?
More of the same. I got stung by a wasp on Friday. I have not been stung by a wasp in probably 20 years.
I haven't been stung in decades.
It does not feel good.
My poor wife, we were on our honeymoon and she had it was a yellow jacket landed on her back. And like, it's a yellow jacket. So like, I don't want to smack it because it'll sting her. I was like trying to like blow it off of her, just like lightly breeze. And I watched that, and I'm close to it too. I watched that thing rear back and stab her right between the shoulder blades. And she collapsed to the ground. It's a funny anecdote now. It was a little scary and a little sad on her honeymoon, but I mean, that was 10 years ago. I don't think she's been stung since then.
So when I was 11 years old, my uncle Roger, who's kind of I love him. He's one of my favorites. Total dickhead. And like, he'll just talk shit about you if you complain or anything. We're hiking through the mountains and he's in front and he's got one of those like metal walking like sticks. It looks like
a hiking pole.
It's a hiking pole. Yep. And he's like we're hiking in the mountains and he's stabbing the ground. He stabs a ground hornet nest and I'm right behind him, just walking, just fat, chubby Aaron, just having a good time. And then all of a sudden I start screaming uncontrollably. Yeah. I walked into the nest and I got stung like 30 times on my legs.
I didn't walk into it, but I was like this little kid at this park in Western Pennsylvania. We're like fishing the pond. My brother's already fishing. My dad's going up to the car to get our stuff. And you remember going to the park and having those like horses on giant springs?
Yeah.
That you would just rock back and forth.
Oh, there was probably a nest.
There was a nest underneath it. I'm going ham, right? I'm fucking riding this thing like it's the frickin' Kentucky Derby. And all of a sudden they just start, the whole fucking nest comes out and starts stinging my legs. I'm screaming like bloody murder. There was a picnic going on in a pavilion. I remember they all ran over and the one guy had like spray and he's hosing the fucking thing down. I was like feet away from jumping into the lake because I was just running as fast as I could away from these things.
It sucks.
I also got stung in the face once. And my upper lip swelled up. It looked like a walrus.
Yeah, those are always good.
How do you not need an Epipen like everywhere you go now? Adrian,
my brother, if he gets stung, dead.
After those 2 incidents, though, like I wasn't scared.
It's like Pulp Fiction. I have to like hit him in the chest with the Epipen.
I wasn't scared of like getting stung for the longest time. Like I would fucking crush these things with my hand when I was like 10 or 11.
I was not scared of them.
I was just I wasn't. And now I'm like, no, I don't want to. Just run away.
It was one of those instances where I'm like, oh, that was a fire ant. Oh no, that is not a fire ant. That is a wasp.
Worst part is they'll come back for you, man. Wasps.
Oh,
wasps!
I saw them like flying around.
Track you down.
They don't give it. Well, hornets will hunt you down. Hornets will continuously. They'll follow you. Like everything else has like a territory around their nest that they kind of just hang out. A hornet will fucking follow you to the end of the earth to sting your ass.
Oh yeah!
As soon as I see one of those in my shed, I'm like, I'm getting the racket out. We're going to town.
So the honeybee is more like Dory Funk, and the wasp is more like Terry Funk.
I guess you could say that.
Yeah.
This is how you're saving
this is our
5 minutes of talk about getting stung by fucking wasps.
You didn't even let me tell my story.
Oh, wait, Cookie, have you been? No, I didn't cry. Jay was like, what happened? I'm like, I got fucking stung, Jay.
You swore at Jay?
I swore at Jay.
Sweetest man on earth.
Jay told my parents last night, and they're like, yeah,
I can see you swearing at Sam, but swearing at Jay, that's a little aggressive.
Dude, like, So I'm playing basketball because there's a court right across the street. I recently got stung like 2 weeks ago.
Good.
Yes. So I'm about to dunk on Chase, of course, because
you're about to dunk.
Yeah, I was about to dunk, of course.
Was it a Fisher Price goal?
He was going in for a sweet layup.
Well, it was more like a sweet layup. But anyway, I see something at I see something at the top of the hoop, and I'm like, what the hell is that? I was like, it looks kind of like a wasp, and the thing comes down so fast and nails me right in the forehead. I get stung right in the fucking forehead by a goddamn wasp. I'm like, what the fuck was that? And I like swipe it out, and it's stuck in my head. I'm like, what the fuck? And from then on out, I'm shooting 3-pointers the rest of the game. I'm not going anywhere near the hoop because there's
money.
Cookie didn't want that smoke.
I want zero smoke with a hornet, man. I was like, fuck that.
How are the courts in Colorado? Were you the only person of color playing basketball?
Oh, first off, they're only half courts. I haven't seen a full court yet.
We don't want to give them a full court.
And no, I have not. I've been the only black guy. Yeah, definitely. around the course.
You are not likely not representing it accordingly either in the way that you play basketball.
No. My skills are on the rugby field.
Not around those Hornets. Fuck that shit.
Did you go to rugby this week?
I did go to rugby this week. I participated in the AGM. We had an annual general meeting. Is that what it's called? Yeah, did one of those. I am not, don't worry, I'm not any kind of position or anything.
Not the president.
I'm no president, no vice president, treasurer, or anything like that. But I heard some crazy stories about this rugby team. Apparently, they used to be funded by a guy who used to impersonate a cop, specifically an FBI agent.
Okay.
And guess what the guy's name was? Whitey. His name is Whitey.
Whitey Soldier?
He used to impersonate FBI agents and cops and stuff like that, and it's just real bad news for the team. So we had to change our names from the Misfits to the Water Dogs because
what's a water dog? So like, are you labs?
Are you like you smell like a wet dog?
Dude, apparently the bar that's close to us used to be called like the Watering Hole, so Water Dogs came from that.
Oh,
I don't know. I got nothing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Terrible fucking name.
Tolbert's ready to get this episode over with.
Tolbert would rather be fixing a broken water pipe in his kit.
Already fixed, but I have to take out the toilet, the rest of the tile
today.
I mean, she wants it done.
Your client?
Yeah, my wife. Yeah. She's a client.
What was wrong with the bathroom that we had to fix it?
It just wasn't modern.
You want to come?
We didn't like it. You didn't give a shit.
No, he gave lots of shits in that bathroom. I'll tell you.
No, it did need to be updated. It's ugly. It was very ugly.
My whole house needs updated, but I'm just too lazy to do it.
Jasmine moves into my house and she's like, "Yeah, we're taking down this wall. We're like adding to this," and I'm like. Okay.
Elliot's birthday actually started off with me ripping the light fixture out of the ceiling in the kitchen because I couldn't get it off to change the light bulb.
The one that looks like a regular,
one that looks like it's from 1983. I knew one end was glued and one end popped off. I couldn't remember which one. I remember how much I needed.
Was it the Office one?
The long. And I remember it needed.
But you didn't hit him and then scrape it across Elliot's head like Nick Gage.
I didn't, but luckily Costco had the same size light for $40 LED. Worked out perfectly.
Oh, so perfect.
Massive hole in the drywall. I thought I was like, man, I'm gonna have to fucking spackle that shit and paint and all this sort of crap. So.
The five what are the five
labors
of Elliot, and his first one was defeat his father with a light thing.
Overhead light.
All right, so let's talk about wrestling. We're talking about Dory Funk, the literal redheaded brother of Terry Funk. Dory, not as exciting as Terry, some may say.
According to some, I appreciate
Dory Funk.
Yeah, we all do. But God, how does he get the crowds like he does? I think he has in all of our matches, everything we've watched.
People go crazy,
wild. It blows my mind.
I look at Dory and I'm like, that guy it's incredible. There's something about him.
I don't understand it, but I want to further investigate. We need to go to the origin. What's the origin story of Dory Funk?
I mean, Dory is an incredible work.
When did he start getting over? You know what I mean?
The 70s when he was the world heavyweight champion.
You can go back, if you're watching Britt Baker on AEW, you can go to that moment on the boat where she's like makes fun of Tony.
Dory's moment.
Makes fun of Tony Schiavone, and that's when she started to get over. When did Dory just become who he is?
He's incredible. I don't know. There's something about Dory that it's an intangible. Maybe people are just I can relate to Dory.
I could see that. Yeah.
He's a relatable guy. He's not too crazy. He's just Dory. And speaking of Dory, if you want your Dory Funk t-shirt, boys,
there you go.
We've only got 75.
Oh, I thought it was going to be more.
No, we don't have 75.
Aaron needs to sell at least 23 to break even.
Listen. We have sold more than I thought that we were going to sell at this point in time. Thank you for everybody that has purchased one. DM us at
Number 2, $steak_ on Twitter or Instagram.
That's right.
We've probably sold equal amounts on Twitter and Instagram.
That's awesome.
I think it's like 4 each.
That's awesome. That's 8. I've given away 10, 14, minus 50. We've only got a lot more. Terry burrows into the box.
By the way, did you ship those out? Did you ever give me a receipt to DM that?
I have not. I will ship them out tomorrow. Sorry,
you haven't shipped my shirt. Cookie. You haven't shipped my shirt yet.
I will tell you guys. For an hour, Cookie argued with me about a large or an extra large. And Cookie decided on a large.
Ooh,
Bad choice, Cookie.
Bold move. I will say, so somebody was asking me about the shirts on Instagram, and I want to pass this by you guys and see if you agree with my take here. So he said, what brand is it? And I don't know, it's a brand I've never heard, Next Level Apparel. But I said, it feels fitted in the arms and upper chest, not too bad in the belly. I said, I flip-flop sometimes between XLs and double XLs, and the XL isn't too tight.
I agree with that. I also told Cookie that it's a snug shirt.
It's snug up top for sure. It shows the guns good.
I will say that I told Jasmine, and Jasmine said, send him an extra large. Jasmine's like, no, send him an extra large.
Thank you, Jasmine. Send me an extra large, Aaron.
I will send you an extra large. So there you go. Dory Funk, everybody. We've got some interesting matches with Dory Funk this week.
Some big names.
Got some big names. So let's talk about some Dory Funk matches. All right, for our first matchup of the evening, Big Mike, you have got Dory Funk against Bruiser Brody.
Correct. WWC, February 27th, 1988, in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
I knew I smelled pigs.
Looks like it's at a soccer field. Video cuts to Bruiser Brody roaming the greens, the lawns of the field casually. I don't know what he was doing. He was limping already. The commentators tried to say that he's playing tag with his fans.
He literally face-palmed a child, and the child falls over.
I don't know. And so like this really threw me off initially because I thought Bruiser Brody was a heel in Puerto Rico. All right. And the Funk brothers are absolutely heels in Puerto Rico.
Right.
So I didn't quite know how to take it. And at first I'm like, what is going on?
It's the lesser of two evils.
He grabs.
Bruiser never called us a pit.
He grabs some chairs, swings them at people, throws one into the ring. All while this is happening. And this is like a couple minutes worth of just like randomly walking around, stumbling because he is limping. And there's Dory, cowboy hat, beautiful rainbow sequin jacket,
incredible jacket.
Just waiting for Bruiser to get there. Eventually, does get into the ring, and immediately I think to myself, "This is what happens at 2:30 at night outside of Barbary Coast."
Yes,
you get two guys that look like this: a guy who's balding and just not impressive in his physique at all,
but still dangerous.
But he's got that wild, he's got that wildness to him. And then you got Bruiser Brody with the long hair, the scarred forehead, the beard, the mangledness, the fuzzy boots. Like he's also probably grunts more than he speaks.
He was like barking.
And you're just ready to watch these guys tee off because they've been doing nothing but the PBR and whiskey $6 combo that Barbary Coast is so famous for. And it starts as you would expect, a very deep and aggressive collar elbow tie up that lasted a little too long. We're getting like just classic 80s wrestling from big guys. At one point, though, we get an Irish whip. Dory gets Irish whipped into the ropes, and Bruiser hits a drop kick to Dory's face that I think if we were playing Mortal Kombat, zapped almost all the power and life out of Dory Funk. Like from this,
I could see that.
From that point, he might have been concussed because he was moving okay, and then like all of a sudden he's just slow. The rest of the match, he's just like slow. He rolls out. I mean, what's a Funk match without chairs flying into the ring?
Right.
So Dory,
I think all three matches have a chair fly.
Dory does heave the classic wooden folding chairs into
the Puerto Rican chair.
Yeah, and they destroyed multiple chairs. And I'm thinking in my head, like, I'm just racking up the dollar account. Like, these are not cheap chairs.
No, they're imported from America, probably.
Typically $5 a night to rent. So if you're, got a disagreement with your rental company, it's a little difficult there. So Bruiser takes the chair, starts crashing it, like just breaking the fucking chair on the corner post. But, the cunning Dory Funk takes a splinter and tucks it in his back waistband.
Not very concealed.
It was concealed to the ref. He had no idea.
It was one of those things where somebody like tries to steal a turkey at at the Harris Teeter, and they like put it under their shirt. It's very, very obvious that they're stealing a turkey.
The referee was a little like taken aback by Bruiser continuously smashing this chair, trying to clear the ring, trying to be the professional that he is. Dory gets back in. He does not see the weapon. And then eventually we get to the gouge spot. We've seen it with forks and pizza cutters lately on TV. Well, this is, just a wooden splinter. And the boys somehow get out into the outside of the crowd. Looks like there's federales or all these people just like,
they're just walking around with machine guns, walking around the perimeter.
And Bruiser and Dory are just fighting the good fight outside. It slows down a lot. Like I said, Dory is not all too impressive after that drop kick to the face. We do get them back in the ring. We do get an amazing funk flop from Dory. I forget how it happened, but he fell backwards and did like the whole roll up, and like his feet are vertical and then falls onto his stomach. Very impressive. I thought that was more a Terry Funk style flop. Dory's nice because like it's like an aged fine wine where you're getting just good little notes. You have to decant it. Yeah, of funk wrestling. You got to get it through the aerator. You got to let it kind of the harshness that a funk match would normally be, because it's just like the fun little notes that is not too over the top. Pretty anticlimactic end to the whole thing. They're kind of doing their thing, and I believe Bruiser goes for a power bomb. Dory counters it, slides right into the ring at 9. Bruiser Brody's counted out, and the crowd really didn't know what to do because I'm watching that. I'm like, well, so who are they cheering for? They were kind of cheering for Bruiser. They definitely hated Dory more, but I think it was like heel match. So the crowd wasn't as into it as some of the Puerto Rican matches we have seen.
Well, he didn't call them pigs.
No, he did not. All in all, I thought it was a good entry into the Dory Funk week. We'll get to hear more about his abilities and capabilities later.
His working boots.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any social media this week?
Hey, you know what? We've slowly been creeping over everything. I actually tweeted this out. We were hovering around 345 Twitter followers. So big little bump the last couple weeks. Mostly because of the Dax thing.
That's it.
And then Instagram, we're hovering around at 169.
Nice.
I said the same thing when I looked at it. I saw the notification. New follower. Nice.
Yeah, but it's slowly trickling. Hey, like I did Instagram. I don't think we had Instagrammed a picture of Dax wearing our shirt, so I finally did Instagram that. I said, just a reminder, our shirt was on national television, and yours likely wasn't.
Except for like the companies that follow us, like Elvac, who created the shirt, like their shirts are on national television.
I just can't stop looking at the picture where I met Sting at AEW.
Stang. Well, that guy was actually stung by the wasp that got me. That's why he's so swollen.
But yeah, no. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, $2stick_. Hit us DM us for your shirt.
Any hits and shits right off the top of your head?
I got to start writing them down again. I have them during the week and then I forget. I didn't golf, so I'm not as chill as I normally would be. But
I'll tell you, shits. I don't like roasts. I just want to let you guys know that.
Like them.
I just don't like them.
For me, that's a hit. It was a hit. I love seeing people uncomfortable.
My sense of humor is like I like uncomfortable humor, but my uncomfortable humor is a little bit more
If you can't laugh at yourself,
I can laugh at myself.
So why is it uncomfortable to watch somebody not be able to laugh at themselves?
If somebody cannot laugh at themselves, that's what makes me uncomfortable. When somebody who can laugh at themselves.
That's not your issue. That's
right.
their issue.
But that issue becomes, have you ever seen the movie True Romance? A man with dreads can be very scary sometimes. A white man with dreads can be very scary. All right, Cookie, for your matchup, I had to sneak Terry in there somewhere. You know,
of course you did.
A cat after this man. Cookie, you've got Terry Funk and Dory Funk against one Ted DiBiase and Stan the Man Hansen.
And we are, of course, in Japan, so the crowd's gonna go crazy for Dory Funk coming out, the sex god,
sex god.
But what we also have across from the Funks is we have Ted DiBiase before the $1 million suits, Virgil, the whole gimmick. He's jacked.
Yeah. So I thought this was going to be an interesting matchup because Ted DiBiase, we've only seen Ted DiBiase on this podcast as $1 Million Man. And that's a lot of people have only seen Ted DiBiase as $1 Million Man.
Yeah.
Seeing Ted DiBiase, this was probably the time where he was doing Mid-South wrestling in Louisiana and Oklahoma, and he was very over there. He's kind of a terrible human being on he's a big heel.
Yeah.
And
to be fair, not much has changed.
Not much. The characteristics have changed up a little bit. I appreciate Ted DiBiase's style, like in the 80s. A little bit more than I do. I mean, I still think he's incredible when he's working for WWF.
Yeah.
I still think this is like it's an interesting sideshow a little bit.
I agree. I think the WWE gimmick was like the cool, suave guy who has just a lot of money. But this guy is just a brute, like traps popping, like I'm going to fuck you up. And Aaron, is he from Texas as well? Did he go to that?
He is. He's also a second generation wrestler. Ted DiBiase's father actually passed away in the middle of the ring, like during a match. Yeah. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Ted went to West Texas with everybody else. That ring.
That's crazy to me. So that leads me into my next little point. Could you imagine going to high school in Texas during that time and they could make probably a cheesy drama out of this shit like Seventh Heaven or some shit where you just have Dory Funk as like, the cool, suave, like older brother. And then Terry.
And then Terry the wild man.
Terry's the fucking wild man. And
Stan the redneck that just chews tobacco all the time.
Oh, yeah. You could turn into a comedy. It could be like Saved by the Bell where Dory Funk's Zach Morris and Terry Funk is probably Slater.
That's an impressive reference for Cookie.
I don't think Dory would be the Zach Morris in this one. Do you think?
No, I don't know.
I don't know who
I can see him more as like a good working Screech. Terry,
I didn't want to say Screech, but I couldn't think of any other character.
I don't want to say Screech, but I think he's too cool to be Screech.
He's definitely too cool to be Screech, but he's also like.
Is he AC Slater?
Yeah, who would be AC Slater in that group? I think Saved by the Bell is not a good comparison.
I don't know. In Japan, he's definitely a Slater in Japan.
He's definitely He's slaying something in Japan.
I could see Terry being the who was the tall one that was addicted to uppers.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking Terry is like Jesse.
Jesse. I'm so excited. I'm so scared.
Now, let's go to the countdown.
Cookies top 4, number 1.
Oh man, I'm so glad that went over. All right, DiBiase drops Terry with an elbow. No tag is made, but Stan rushes in and tries to drop an elbow. And Terry's smart. He's smart to this shit. He sees it coming and he just tucks and rolls out of the ring. But Stan's on his ass, so he's just running right after him. And he does the big brother, little brother thing where he just runs behind Dory Funk and just hides behind him like, don't come near me. Please don't come near me. And you know what? Stan Hansen wants no smoke with the big bro. And I bet it's because Dory Funk used to beat his ass in high school.
I could see that.
I could definitely see that. He just waits because he's like, you know what? Dory Funk can have this. I'm going to have him in the ring later on.
I could see Dory Funk as the Matthew McConaughey character in what was not Fast Times at Ridgemont High. What is it? What is the movie where it's like, all right.
Yeah.
Is that
Dazed and Confused?
Oh, Dazed and Confused.
I can see Dory Funk as that Matthew McConaughey character.
Is that they keep getting younger and I keep
yeah.
You keep getting older and they keep staying the same
These
age.
Japanese fans stay the same age.
Jesus.
Number 2.
You know, I've said it once and I'll say it again. The best damn seller to ever sell is Terry freaking Funk. And I mean, Terry takes a chop from Stan Hansen and he just winces and he crumbles underneath the bottom rope. It's only one chop and Terry crumbles, but he's just so good at it. It's so believable. And then Terry takes some stiff punches from Ted DiBiase and he throws like 3 of the wildest haymakers that you'll ever see. And they don't connect at all. They're nowhere near the opponent, but I believe it though, because it's Terry Funk. And he just throws him as if he's just going to knock out Ted DiBiase with just one hook, and it just never happens. But Ted DiBiase, of course, knocks out Terry Funk. And then you get a tag in the stand, or I'm sorry, not stand, into the sex god, Dory Funk.
Number 3.
So here you go. I got a little scenario here, Aaron. We're going to take a little sidetrack. You're the quarterback in this scenario, right? You've got Ted DiBiase and Stan Hansen clogging your 2 gaps, and the play call is a quarterback sneak. What do you do?
I hope and pray that I can get quicker than those 2 guys.
Well, so do you call the audible or do you just go for it?
Oh, no, I would audible. If they are lined up over the gap and I know my guard and my center have no way of stepping into that gap for me and causing the push to create that gap, I'm going to the B or C gap immediately. Okay. I'm thinking that it's going to collapse down and it's going to open up a gap in the B or C.
Well, let's just say there's some big guys that are.
Mike, do you agree with that?
I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, thanks, Mike.
Thanks for the analysis, football Mike over here.
He's enjoying his energy drink and his chilada at the same time over here. Sunday vibes.
Don't give the cat any chilada. Yeah,
chilada is disgusting. I just want to point that out.
It's not good.
It's not good at all.
It's not a clamata, is it? Because that one's got clam juice in it.
I thought it had tomato juice in it.
And tomato juice.
Oh, that's disgusting. Anyway, well, Dory should have audible. He should have called an audible because he got pancaked by those 2 hosses who got in their 3-point stance and they took out Dory Funk. Now, Dory stands on the apron and Terry's on the ground recovering from a pile driver on the mat outside. Dory manages to lock in the Texas cloverleaf, right? Now, Stan tries to interfere, but Terry grabs his leg and he's holding on to it for dear life until Stan grabs a hold of his bull rope. And what does he do with that? He takes out Terry, sending him over the guardrail. Of course, when Terry goes over a guardrail, the guardrail is going to come with him.
Right.
So, you're going to hear a loud bang and everything else. And the whole front row is gone, of course, because all the Japanese people are terrified of Terry Funk.
That's right.
But anyway, takes out the whole guardrail. Anyway, Stan gets hit too with the cowbell, and that's when the bell ringing starts, literally and figuratively.
Number 4.
So at 15 minutes and 9 seconds, mind you guys, this match is 18 minutes long. At 15 minutes and 9 seconds, the ref calls the match when Stan Hansen interferes for like the 6th time by breaking up Texas cloverleaf.
It's like a Young Bucks match.
It's just, I'm like, the referee has no control over these 2 men. To be fair, though, I would not even touch Stan Hansen just because I don't want to get hit with a lariat, a cowbell, a boot. There's a lot of things that he could just throw at you.
His chewing tobacco?
His tobacco. It's ER, tobacco. Anyway, at some point, Stan loses his boot. I don't know when he lost.
I don't know either. I didn't notice it until he was putting the boot back on.
I saw one brown shoe and then I saw a white sock and I was like, what happened? Anyway, Stan clocks Dory with the ring bell like normal, but it was Ted DiBiase that just repeatedly was just beating poor old Dory Funk with the cowbell that cracked me up. He was just like over top of him, just beating him over the head with this cowbell. And Dory gets some color. of course, at the end of the match for some reason, but he gets some color. And meanwhile, while all this is happening, what does Terry Funk do? He's outside. He's throwing chairs. He starts throwing at least 4 chairs into the ring.
He threw a row of chairs.
At one point he grabs 4 sets of chairs. And did you see the one guy try it? Like it was like a
he's like, yeah, maybe not that one. And then Terry's like, fuck yeah, this one.
Yeah, he like slaps his hand out of the way, and Terry's like, fuck that, I'm throwing the whole thing in there. He throws 4 sets of chairs in there. I'm sure that a couple of them hit Stan Hansen. But anyway, so Terry's throwing chairs, and at one point Terry goes into the ring as the other 2 are leaving. Stan Hansen and Ted DiBiase leave the match. Terry goes into the ring and starts throwing the chairs that he's already thrown into the match back outside at the guys. And I lost it seeing him just take the chairs that he's already thrown in. He's just putting more work on himself. But he's Terry Funk. So
it's Terry Funk.
He starts throwing the chairs back at him. Anyway, someone throws a streamer across Terry Funk's face, like his line of sight. And he turns around with his hand cocked like he's about to punch that kid. Like, you know what? I'm still hyped. Who wants it? Oh, man, I love this match. I love it so much. But I'll go into my honorable mentions. Stan Hansen is a freaking bully, period.
Yes.
At one point, Terry hits DiBiase with a shoulder block, and he's stunned. He's trying to tag out, but he's in the wrong corner. Terry's in the wrong corner. So what does he do? What does Bully Hansen do? He jumps in the ring, kicks Terry square in the chest to the other corner where Dory is. Like, get back to your side.
This is Sparta.
And then Terry's got a sit-out pile driver. That's just a nasty spot. Like, I'd rather take a tombstone from Taker than just be slowly dropped on my head by Terry Funk.
It's so slow.
It's Terry Funk. It's Terry. Let's see here. We got DiBiase doing high spots on the outside, just as some honorable mentions. DiBiase was just an athlete, man. Just want to throw that out there. He could actually do more work than.
I think that his size is kind of not really showcased as much in WWF, but he's a pretty big dude.
He is. Like, all those shoulder tackles and the slaps and the chops, like all that stuff, I'm believing it. I'm believing it that it crumbles some people, the punches to the head and stuff like that, because he's such a big dude, such a jack dude. But yeah. So that's all I got for you guys, man. That's all I got for Saved by the Bell, aka Stan Hansen and Ted DiBiase versus the Funks.
How many chair throws does it get?
This gets 4 chair throws. It was a decent wrestling match, but it was funny as hell. So this gets 4 chair throws.
How many cookies is that?
What, cookies? Oh, it's 5 cookies.
Okay, I was just making sure.
5 cookies.
Just making sure.
Yeah. No, don't worry.
Could have been more chairs.
If he would have thrown more chairs, it would have gotten more cookies.
Okay. I got you.
No.
All right, for the final and most interesting match of the evening on paper, maybe not in practice.
On paper.
Tolbert, you have got Dory Funk against Rob Van Dam.
Yes.
What the hell happened here, and how? Why is this even a thing?
I don't know why it's a thing. I was just looking at the comments on the YouTube channel. I guess this was in around '96, and everyone says it's part of WrestleFest.
So it seems like it was in West Texas. Like,
yeah, it was in Amarillo, Texas.
So the home area of the Funks. Yeah. So of course he's over here.
And in the comments, it says the main event that night was Terry Funk versus Bret Hart.
Oh, it was that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that this footage got omitted from all the DVDs and videos they've had of it. So apparently everyone's in the comments like, where the fuck has this been? Why was this never shown? And apparently someone posted it on YouTube and you found it. And here we are.
I want you guys to know. Little bit of trivia.
Yeah.
That was Terry Funk's, quote, retirement match with Dennis Stamp as the referee. You're booked. That was the same night.
Oh. It was that night.
That was that night. Wow.
That's the You're Booked night.
Yeah. Well, Dory was on the card.
Dory was
also appearing. Dory Funk against RVD.
And then Rob Van Dam, the whole fucking show. All right, first off, Dory comes. This place is packed, so I guess because it's a huge,
it's Terry's
being
retirement,
filmed, and everything. I mean, just absolutely packed. Dory comes out to just, dude. Everyone loves Dory. He's got his varsity Letterman jacket and his cowboy hat on.
Jacket.
He's probably like 70 or something.
No, he's in his 50s.
But he looks. When he comes out, you're like, oh, okay, how's this gonna go? But dude, he's got his grandson walking with him.
Do we know that's his grandson?
So I looked at a couple of things. I think that's his grandson.
Okay,
coming in. So it's a grandson or a great nephew or something like that. I don't know.
I would, an illegitimate child.
But making his way down, you got guys taking off their cowboy hats. You have one dude that goes like, "Hold my beer. I gotta hug Dory," and he gives him a big old hug. He gives him a kiss on the cheek and like puts his cowboy hat back on. So you go get him, Dory. You go get him,
man. So you're seeing this hero's welcome.
Oh yeah, overwhelming. RVD comes out. He starts getting heat immediately because he's cocky. California kind of Florida vibes. Do
you think that this is the first time that Dory's ever heard Pantera?
Yes. Yeah, probably. Because that's funny. That's what's, I'm glad you brought that up. Because Dory comes out to like this big band, like varsity kind of theme, playing them in. All these people in cowboy hats are like, yeah, Dory. And
they're all trying to do a square dance.
Yeah, you just hear the riff kick in.
Of what?
You see like 3 misfits in the crowd going like, yeah. You're like, shut up.
Woo, Pantera. Woo.
Then you have Bill Alfonso blowing that fucking whistle.
Bill Alfonso
looks like a crackhead.
Oh, well, that, yeah.
He gets some heat though, man. He gets those fans riled up. He gets on the mic and cuts a little promo.
I don't understand a word he says.
I turned it up. I couldn't understand something about, this is Mr. Monday night on his Sunday night had to come all the way down to Amarillo, Texas, out of my way to beat this old bastard's ass. Or pretty much something along those lines.
Right.
Yeah, got the crowd really heated up. And the match starts. RVD, does the classic heel stuff. I think he walks around the ring for 10 minutes before the match even gets started.
It's one of those you gotta stretch for time.
Yeah.
It's like the whole first 30 minutes of our podcast, stretching for time.
That should be the name of the episode this week.
Stretch.
Excuse me. But so we get started. He works the crowd a little bit, and we finally get some action. Dory gets him in a headlock. Crowd goes wild.
That's a working headlock.
Yeah, crowd goes wild. And this is a kind of a common theme throughout the rest of the match. Is Rob taking a lot of bumps and selling for Dory, and he just does his classic power moves, gets pumped up. I have to say, Dory does take quite a few bumps in this match as well. I
want to express for Dory one thing that I think is very underappreciated. He's got one of the best European uppercuts out of anybody in professional wrestling.
Yes, he does. And we actually get a build up to the European uppercuts. He gives them 2 or 3 of them. And I like right before he gives it to him, gives him a slap to the face and then the uppercut. He's like letting him know it's coming. He's like, slap, yeah, uppercut. And RVD sells the hell out of it. We do get a double underhook suplex from Dory as well that looked beautiful. We get a few, with the classic moves from Rob Van Dam as well. We get the 5-star splash. We get everything, which Dory eats. He doesn't really sell too much for Rob.
Yeah,
he's taking these bumps and leg drops. And he's just kind of like, oh, all right.
It's like if my dad was doing it. Yeah, that hurt.
At one point, I think he's in the corner, and Rob Van Dam just gives him a drop kick right to the face while he's just sitting in the turnbuckle. And you just, all right, what's next? And, at one point, when he does get some momentum, we do get the taunt from Dory doing "I'm the fucking man" the whole fucking show. Dory
Funk doing the thumbs, the RVD thumbs for DF Jay, maybe one of the funniest things that I'd seen in a very long time. It's incredible.
He does it for a while too, because Rob's trying to get back in the ring, and he just keeps on going. He's like, "Yep, Dory fucking Funk."
DFF.
We do get a chair spot, so this is the third mention of a chair, which we get a little ref bump, gets distracted. RVD tosses Dory the chair. He catches it, and he does his little back spinning kick into the chair.
The Van Damme.
Yeah, he takes quite the bump, because when he falls, he kind of goes through the ropes and hits the announcer table a little bit. I don't think he quite meant to bump that hard, but we also get a spot on the curtain where he jumps over and gives him a stomp to the head. It looks like you hear some lady audibly scream when he does that.
No,
don't do that to Dory.
Not Dory. You can do that to Terry.
But so we're wrapping up here, and I think Dory catches Rob off the top rope and delivers a huge suplex, which looked beautiful. It actually gave him a really nice suplex. I think it stunned Dory a little bit because it took him a minute to kind of roll over. And Rob had to sell that a little extra long. But he gets him, and he does this kind of like arm hook roll up pin. Pretty interesting. Looked like an old school, super old school move. I've never seen that before. He locks the arm, and does a roll up. It was great. But he does his ankle locks. He gets all the classics in. Rob gets all his moves in.
He got his shit in.
Yeah, dude. Crowd loved it. And at the end of the day, Rob went home. It was interesting. Rob Van Dam had WCW on the ass of his trunks.
Really?
And WWF on the front.
And probably ECW somewhere. I think at that point he'd worked at all three. Yes, Cookie.
Oh, Tolbert, man, I'm watching it as we speak again. And Rob Van Dam at one point does like a move outside of the ring. And Dory Funk just like slowly crumbles down. Like he doesn't, Rob Van Dam doesn't even touch him at all.
Yeah, he does go for the suicide dive over the top rope. He does a front flip. I think he barely catches Dory. He just goes,
he does a 5-star frog splash on him
as well. Yeah, and he kind of just eats it and just kind of lays there. Like, all right, watch this clip because he doesn't sell shit. He doesn't sell a goddamn thing.
He's like, one of us was the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion.
He probably just couldn't. So.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Arthritic hips.
Tolbert, do you have a wonderful HighKu?
I do. The whole damn show, Mr. Monday on a Sunday, Dory fucking Funk.
There we go. We were talking about it earlier. Do you guys want to do a Wahoo episode? Sure. Wahoo. We have not talked about our boy Wahoo McDaniel in a while. I believe, and we can kind of talk about whenever you talk to an old head, somebody that has watched professional wrestling at least since the 1980s.
Down here in the South.
In the South.
In the South.
You're not hearing this up north. You're not hearing this in Ohio.
I've had countless patients.
I go to the grocery store the other day. I have my mask on because the Delta variant is running wild like Hulkamania, right? I've got this on. The guy says, "I like your luchador mask." And I'm like, "Hey, yeah, thanks, man." He's like, "I love wrestling." And I know as soon as they use the R word instead of the W word, they are going to tell me one person above all else. And I said, "Really? Who was your favorite back in the day?" Wahoo McDaniel. I loved Wahoo, man, and Junkyard Dog. Which Junkyard Dog kind of threw me off a little bit, but the Wahoo.
Yeah, we talked about this before. Every time you talk to any old head, that's the first person that comes up. Like,
Wahoo.
You can almost put money on it. I would put money on it almost every single time.
And we were at AEW a couple weeks ago. AEW Charlotte. If you didn't listen to that episode, is in our archives. We were talking to a guy that walked up to us and just randomly was talking to us. And he's like, "Yeah, man, I just got an Uber here." And our Uber driver's like, "Yeah, he used to see wrestling here." And he's like, and he kept talking about this one guy, Wahoo McDaniel. He saw Wahoo and Andre. And I'm like, "Yep. Oh, yeah. That's Charlotte for you, brother."
Notice how none of the old guys ever say sports entertainment.
No, they say wrestling.
No. Wrestling.
We watched Jim Crockett wrestling every weekend, and we saw Wahoo.
Hey, man, I was supposed to go down to Legion Stadium and watch Wahoo versus Flair, and they wrecked that plane.
And then Wahoo went to go visit him in the hospital. because he's a good man.
He is.
You can
He's
take
a
him
good
out
man.
with one chop. Take him out with one chop. That's all he needs.
Cookie, did you ask your father about Wahoo?
I did. And my father does know who Wahoo McDaniel is, but he quickly changed the conversation to Ric Flair.
Oh, my God. Your father, not a real.
No, I don't know what it is about black culture, but we love Ric Flair. We love Ric Flair and we love Jeff Hardy. I don't know why. I have no clue. But I've talked to a lot of black people.
He's absolutely right. He is absolutely right.
There is something about black people and Ric Flair. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's the flashy shit. I don't know what the fuck it is.
I'll tell you, Derek Addison really was a Wahoo fan. I'll tell you that. Yeah. And you know what? Next week, we're going to have a special guest appearance. We're going to have to call Derek Addison in to talk about his memories of Wahoo McDaniel.
I can't wait. I'm going to ask my dad more questions about Wahoo, just in case. Yo, but
I really like Ric Flair. No, fuck Ric Flair.
Yeah, we're talking about Wahoo
McDaniel. All right, thank you for listening to $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast.